Welcome, welcome. I'm your professor, Stephen Wallen, and now we're going to go ahead and work on homework help for Chapter 3, shall we? It's coming down here. Chapter 3. Okie dokie, let's get started. Yep. Alright. Ooh, we have market for tutoring. And as we can see here, let's go ahead and see what we got here. Here we have our demand. Okay, we got our demand going this way. Here we have supply going this way. The easiest way to always remember this is supply is like Superman, goes up, okay? Superman. So our supply, it's like Superman, flies up into the sky. Demand goes down. See how this is going down? So demand is gonna go down, and the reason why it goes down is why does demand go down here? Well, let's take a look and see. As we get over to here, okay, it's going down because it's increasing as far as the amount of people wanting it at that price. That's simple. So, all right. So let's clear this off. So that's just another thing. Remember, just to always, if you ever forget which one's supply, which one's demand. Supply goes up. Superman, demand goes down. All right, that's just a little device to help you remember. Let's clear this off. Let's see what they actually want us to do here. Determine the size of the market surplus or shortage that would exist at a price of $40. So all you do is go over to your line, and let's go ahead and find a $40 price. Price is right here, price of tutoring, 10, 20, 30, 40. Right there's 40. And if we were to draw a line here, whoa, we got us a big one. Let's go there, there we go. Much better, a little smaller. Okay. That's the price. Let's see what numbers we have. For demand, all you do, this is the way you calculate it. Just go to your line, figure out which line it is. That's demand. So on demand, I'm hitting 75. So demand equals 75. Done. Okay. Demand equals 75 over here. Supply equals 125. So all you do is you go here and then you drop it straight down because you're following your $40 price. Supply at 125. Do these two equal? Is 75 equal to 125? Think about it. The answer is no. So how far different are they? Well, they're off by 50. We know that much. And in what direction? Which one's bigger? Well, we're having more supplied than demanded. Okay, so for example, let's imagine I had this giant donut factory, or shop, I guess, and I had 125 donuts, and only 75 people wanted to buy them at the $40 price. So what would I be left with at the end of the day? 50 donuts. So I have a surplus of 50. Okay, that's what I'm left with. So I wasn't able to sell them. People didn't want them at that price. Okay, I mean, some people wanted them, at least 75 did, but not the entire amount that I had been willing to supply at that price. So let's come down here and see what we need to do. There will be a blank. There will be a surplus, because we can see this is above equilibrium. That's another way to think about surplus. If you ever have a price above it, you're going to have a surplus. You're going to be producing more than what people want. Okay, at that price. And for this one, we can see that's going to be a 50. And as always, what do? Let's put a check in there. Check-a-rooney. Here we go. And the check says we did it correct. Good. Move on to the next. Determine the size of the market. Let's clear all this. Clear it off. Determine the size of the market surplus or shortage that would exist at a price of 20. Okay, so we're going below equilibrium. Going below this time. So we're going to take our 20, and all you do is just take it all the way across. And then just draw down to get your points, okay? So right here, supply. What's being supplied here? Well, we're right between 25 and 50. So that's going to be 75 divided by 2. That's going to be 37.5. Let's make sure on that. It should be 37.5. So bring up calculator. We're going to go 25 plus 50 is 75 divided by 2 equal, yep, 37.5. Perfect. Alright, so we have 37. It's always hard to do it whenever they don't have it just like down there and easy to see. 37.5. And now what is this? Which one are we doing this for? Well, it's this line. And this line is supply. So that's what's being supplied at that price. That's supply. Okay. Oh, isn't that so beautiful? Alright, now market demand. We're at 125. We don't have to do anything. We can clearly see it's at 125. What's the difference? Well, we take 37. You can always just flip signs if you don't want to put things back in your calculator. Well, minus 125. 87. Flip the sign on that. So 87.5 is the difference. So we take the difference between these two. And we get 87.5. There we go. It's a 7. There we go. Perfect. Let's go ahead and put this in, shall we? There will be a what? Okay, so if it's below equilibrium, there will be a surplus or shortage. Which one's bigger right now? Well, we have more people demanding it. Let me write this down so you can see. We have more people on the demand side than on the supply side. So people are going to be fighting for what little supply is there at that price. Okay, so that means you're going to have a shortage. And the easiest way to think of it this way: if this is equilibrium and you're shorter than equilibrium, shortage. Dun 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 dun. All right. So, and of how many? Well, 87.5. Let's see if we got it right. If so, we're moving on. Perfect. We're good. We are moving on. We are now on question 2. All right. Question 2 of chapter 3. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, okay. So, Hurricane Sandy to raise prices on used cars. Okay, so the immediate impact of Hurricane Sandy was devastating, and storm's ripple effects will continue to be felt in the weeks and months ahead as communities work to recover. One side effect becoming apparent in Sandy's influence on used car market. Okay. According to the Detroit Free Press, the destruction of some 250,000 vehicles had led to a shortage that could affect late model used vehicle prices nationwide. The National Auto Dealers Association estimates that prices could increase 0.5% to 1.5%. That may not seem like much, $50 or $170 per vehicle, but Edmunds.com suggests that in the short term, prices could jump $700 to $1,000. It's really interesting when you see these things that happen, because it literally is a ripple effect. If there's a huge shortage in an area, the prices there will dramatically change, and as the further away you get from the area, it's going to affect prices in a ripple effect, but it's going to lower because you're getting further away from where the actual problem was. So like states that are bordering where that happened, their used car prices would go up a fair amount. If you're right in the area, they go up significantly, and then if you're outside of that area, you're just going to see a small increase. So, because then it's easier to tap into other markets based on locale where you're located. So let's go ahead and see what we have here. So this is kind of confusing. They're giving us one market demand line, okay, which makes sense because regardless of whether Sandy happens or not happens, your demand with all information we have is staying the same, okay? Before the hurricane and after the hurricane, I still have a need for a car to get to work or to go around and do things. So they're having the market demand stay the same. The difference, though, is what? Pre-hurricane is here, so we'll call this supply 1. Post-hurricane is here. This is supply 2. This is what our supply changes to, okay? So our supply is going backwards. Why? Why are we losing supply? Because the hurricane came and destroyed everything. So if the hurricane destroys your factories and destroys your infrastructure, you're going to have a harder time supplying stuff. Yes, and if it destroys the actual cars themselves, yeah, then there's just not that many on the market, okay? So we're seeing a backward shift in supply. Supply is being reduced due to the hurricane. So let's see what they're asking for on these questions. What is the initial pre-hurricane equilibrium price, okay? If we look here, 20,000, and it goes right here. So at pre-hurricane levels, everything's fine. We have 20,000 as far as the price and 10,000 units. And guess what? Because it's at equilibrium, you're not going to have any issues there, okay? So the initial price would be 20,000. Slide that in there. How large is the pre-hurricane shortage? Now, think about this. If it's before the hurricane, and then we're assuming the market has matured and had a chance to balance out, what's going to be the shortage if we're at 20,000? Okay, this is the thing. It should say at 20,000, what's the shortage? Well, if equilibrium's at 20,000, then there'd be no shortage at 20,000 because it's equilibrium. Okay, so you're going to put 0 here because we're assuming a mature market that's kind of equaled out. What is the post-hurricane equilibrium price? So before, this used to be the price that things were getting pushed towards, okay? We had 20,000 for the used cars as far as price, and about 10,000 units, and that's where the market was kind of settled at. When you reduce supply, though, all of a sudden, we're having less on the market, and because there's less on the market and the demand remains the same, people are going to pay more for that reduced amount that's available, okay? So now our used car price at post-hurricane, people are going to pay 21,000 because they're fighting over what few cars there are. So you go over here, 21,000. And again, all I did was I took this right here. Oh, let me get my little marker to give me the equilibrium price right there. That's the equilibrium price at the post-hurricane level. And by default, that new equilibrium price is only going to do 8,000 in the market because the supply got destroyed and has been reduced. Going down, what is the pre-hurricane quantity? Okay, all you is go over here, pre-hurricane. Okay, we go over here, 20,000. The quantity before was 10,000 right there, 10,000. Post-hurricane, though, what's the new quantity? Well, they got shifted up here. If we're going on equilibrium price, it's going to be 8,000. All right. How large is the post-hurricane shortage at the pre-hurricane equilibrium price? So this is these questions. Like, if I'm sticking with the same prices we had before, but now the market's changed, what's going to happen? So what we're going to do is we're going to apply this right here. We're going to use yellow this time. Okay. We're putting this in right here. Actually, it's hard to see yellow. We're going red. Red it is. All right. There we go. And we're going to use the old price of this, except we're now using this line here and this line here. Okay, so we're going to end up with this point here and this point over here. Those are our 2 points. So we look over here. Right here, we're on the supply line 2. Okay. So between 7,000 and 8,000, so about 7,500 cars would be people would be wanting supply at that. So we're right down 7,500. Oh, sorry. 7,500. So right there. And then if we come over here, what's our demand? Their demand didn't change because of the hurricane, so the demand was still at 10,000 at that price level. So supply, our demand 10,000. So, looking at this, we are supplying 7,500, but people are demanding 10,000 at that price. What are we going to have? A shortage, because demand is bigger. Also, remember, if it's ever below your current equilibrium, so this is the equilibrium post-hurricane, we're below that, this is now a shortage. And we're short by how many? The difference. 2,500. Take the difference between what's demanded and what's supplied, and we still have 2,500 people that would still want a car at that price, even though only 7,500 are being supplied. Come down here. 2,500. And let's see if we did everything right. Here we go, moment of truth. And we did it. Perfect. Clear off the mess. On to the next problem. Here we go. Next problem. In September 2014, Apple was selling a gold version of the 128 gigabyte iPhone 6 for $949. 2 days later, that phone was advertised on eBay for a starting bid of $1,625. This was evidence of what? Okay. Well, if it was selling at $949, but then resold for higher, what do you think was going on? Does that sound like equilibrium? Well, if it was equilibrium, it would still be $949. Okay, like if I put a product out there for $949, and assuming the product had no loss of value somehow and could be resold for the same amount, then I would be at an equilibrium price still, because then the market double checked what I put it out for and said, yes, we believe it's still at that price. If we did surplus, what would that mean? Okay, well, if I put out a product for $949 and then people bought it and then found out it was junk and they're just trying to get rid of it and people didn't really want it on the market, then there'd be a lot of excess on the market and it'd probably go down in price. People would be able to resell it for a lot cheaper if there's a surplus of that at that price. At the shortage, though, and this is what the answer is, that's basically what it was. There was a shortage at that price. Even though they put out that many at that price, all of what the company was able to put out doesn't match what the market actually wanted. And even though you were trying to sell it cheap, a lot of times you have resellers. This happens all the time in concerts. Whenever there's a fixed amount and the amount is way below what the market deems it valued at, you're going to have a shortage, just because more people want it at that price than what's available. So right here it says instructions. Grab the horizontal dash curve at the top of the graph and drag the drop to indicate where this price should accurately reflect the situation. So if I grab this, right there would be what? This would be a surplus, right? Because there's demand, the red line demand is less than the supply line. Okay, supply is here, so there'd be a point of supply here. Supply is greater than demand at this point. If it was equilibrium right here, then this would still be selling at $949, assuming no loss in value for a used unit. However, though, what's really going on? Give me it. Don't be bad. Give me the line. I'm gonna get it. Gonna get it. There we go. See, even it gets tricky even for me on these things sometimes. They don't want to work. All right. That's it. And if you ever have issues with these, remember you can reset them if you have an issue if it bugs up on you. Check my work. Do we do it? It's a shortage, and that shows a shortage where demand over here is greater than the supply at that amount. All right, perfect. We're already on to number 4. We're cruising through. Calculate the market. Quantity demand and quantity supplied. Graph the market demand and market supply. Then answer 2 questions about equilibrium. Okay, so first
they're giving us data here. Now, this data, we look at the demand side. We got Al, we got Betsy, Casey, Daisy, Eddie. All market demand is individuals and their demand added together. So if I add up Al, Betsy, Casey, Daisy, and Eddie's demand at a certain price point, that's the market's demand at that price point. That's taking all the individuals' demand and putting it at that price point. So here I got 1, 2, 2, 2. That should be an 8. And if I did it correctly, what can you do? Come down here, check it, and we will see that it was correct. That's all they wanted. That's how you make the market. The market's just comprised of all the individual demands. And so this is on the demand side. All right. We come over here. We have 2, 2, 2, 2, and a 3. So that's going to be 8 plus 3 should be 11. Okay. Over here we got 3, 3, 4. So that's 10 plus 4 more, 14. Here we got 4, 2, 4, 10 plus 6 more, it'd be 16. All right. And remember, we're doing this for each price point. So this is how much they demand per price point. So if you look at this, Al's thing just kind of gradually goes up. Betsy's goes up but at a lot slower rate. Kind of middles out there at 4, 3, and 2. And then if you look at this person, it just kind of does nothing. And then all of a sudden skyrockets. Like if it's cheap, then this person wants a lot of it. So everyone's demand has a different curve basically. And we put all those together to get a market curve. 5, 5, so that's 10. There's another 10, so 23. All right. Then you do the same down here for the supply side. These are the different firms / companies that are willing to supply at certain prices. You put all those individual suppliers together, you get market supply. So 3 and 7 is 10. 6 and 4 is 20 with an extra 6, 26. Now one thing to look here, what do you notice, okay? Demand at the high price is low, and as price decreases, demand goes up. People want more. This is going to be the reverse, okay? At $5, a lot of suppliers are willing to supply. Okay, at $4 though, we got, let's see, 3, 3, 4 is 10, plus 5 is 18. So 5, 5, yeah. Oh no, it's not 18, that is 20. 5, 5. It's a 20 there. There we go. There we go. 20. See, 3, 3, 3, so that's gonna be 9 plus 8. 17. Just give me a second as we add these all up. 3, 3, 3, 3. That's 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. Here, at $1, all the factories do not want to provide very much. So 3, 3, we got 8. So you can see a sharp drop off on the supply side. That's probably when they start pretty much where some of them starting to get close to losing money. All right, so using the table above, construct market supply and demand curve. So all you're doing is you're going to take these points for demand, plug them in for demand. Take these points for supply, plug them in for supply. Let's go ahead and do that. So this is a table we're going to put in graph form. We'll start with demand at the top. Okay, so at $5, 8 is being demanded. 8, 5. Okay, we got that one. At $4, 11. There we go. And then at
$3, 14's being demanded. Just take your time on this. Make sure you're doing it right on the graph. At $2, 16, so we just go to 2, and then we go all the way over to 16. And then at 1, everybody wants it at 1. It goes to 23. Just like that. Okay. Then let's do our supply. Okay. Supply at $5, 26 people. So we go to 5, we go all the way over to 26. So one thing you can also see on the lines, they're always going to form an X, okay? And at the very edges is when they get furthest apart. So like at the tops or at the bottom price ranges. And then 20 at 4, so we go 4, we go 20. Then we're gonna go for 3 at 17. And then at 2 we go 16. Yeah, 2 is 16. No, it should be crossing. No, bad. Here's your undo buttons. Oh, it only lets you undo once. Alright, so sometimes, like I said, this graph is very tricky. It doesn't want to work the way you want it to sometimes. Just take your time. I don't know why it wouldn't just plot that point for us real quick. Supply. Alright, so you can fast forward in this real quick and then I'll catch up with you guys. You go ahead and replot all this. Alright, so 8, 5. Alright, there we go. I wish these graphs worked a lot better for you all. 4, 11. Real quick, I'll get this back up. 14, 3. We got 16. And 23 at 1. Alright. Yeah, they definitely need to make this graphing tool a lot better. Alright, 5, 26. 420. 420, oh man. Alright, 3, 17. It did it that time and it didn't blow up on us. Something's happy with what we're doing. 8, 1. Woo, we did it. We did it. It didn't get angry. All right. At least not on a third time. We got through. All right, here we go. Hopefully everyone's back now. All right. The equilibrium price is, okay, where they cross is equilibrium. So we just put in a $2 there. It's $2. There we go. Identify the amount of surplus reserves that exists at a price of 4. So you go up to 4 here. Okay. At 4. These are our points. Okay, so it's going to be this point here and that point there. And the easiest thing to do is you can actually climb up here to where we have it on the data sheet up here. We can see at 4, we have 11 being supplied. 11 being demanded and 20 being supplied. So that's going to be 9. And obviously, because it's above, it's going to be a surplus. 9 units. All right. That looks funny. It looks like a little face. So let's see if we did it right. Check my work. And we did it. Good job, everybody. Clear this off. Next one. All right, if a product becomes more popular, which curve will shift? Well, if it becomes more popular, that's going to affect people's tastes, and tastes affect trends and demand, okay? Now, if somehow we got cheaper resources or better technology or something happened that affect our supply chain, then we'd see a shift in supply, right? But in this case, it's just people wanting something more, so it's going to shift the demand curve. Along which curve will price and quantity move, okay? Now, if you're shifting one curve, guess what you're moving along? The other curve. Let me show you an example, okay? If I have my supply here, like this, I have my demand over here. This is demand. Okay, which curve will shift demand? If I take demand and I shift it up because it's increasing, see these arrows? That's where it's moving. What's also in line with these arrows with where it's moving? Supply. So it's literally moving along the supply curve. Okay, so if you're moving one curve, then it's moving along the other. Okay, along which curve will price and quantity move? Okay, and I think it says along which curve will price and quantity move. So we see here, our price is moving and our quantity is moving. It's going to be moving along that curve. Okay. At the new equilibrium, will price be higher or lower? Well, let's take a look and see. Equilibrium 1 was here. Probably, let me use black. See black? Yeah, you guys can see black a lot better. There's black. Okay, that was our original equilibrium. That'd be E1. Now, remember what's down here? This is quantity. This entire area here is quantity. This entire area over here will be your price area. Okay. And our new one is going to be over here. This is our new E2. That's E2. Okay. E2 is right there. I put it off to the side here. Normally you'd label it right on the point, but it gets kind of messy. So this is E1. This is E2. And what do we see on quantity side? Quantity went up. What about on price? Price went up. So at the new equilibrium, will price be higher or lower? Well, the answer is going to be yes, which makes sense. Usually when things become more in demand, people are willing to pay more, and then they have a bidding war and it bids the price up. At the new equilibrium, will quantity be higher? Yes, people are willing to buy it as well. Okay, if demand increases, you will see both quantity and price go up. Okay, because more people are buying it and more people are willing to pay more for it. So you have both. All right, does that make sense for everybody? All right. Now, before we move on, let me go ahead and take a look at one thing. What would happen if, let's say, this was a fad? So this is demand 1. This is where we started. This is demand 2. Beanie Babies became popular. And let's say all of a sudden people decided they were junked. Like, this stuff's junk, is not worth anything. Demand could go way low. It could even go way lower than the previous or the initial demand, okay? What would happen then? Well, you'd have a new equilibrium point down here. Also, which way would quantity move? Quantity would go down, price would go down. So all you really have to do is just define your new point and then just pull it over to price, pull it over to your quantity, and just look and see, does it go down, does it go up? If I put this in, okay, this is where it used to be, this is where it was after the super shift, and let's say this became worse than even when it first began. You could literally go through and you can calculate all of it out. You just draw the lines down and it ends up where it needs to be. All right, I think that's it. If you guys have any more questions, let me know in class. We'll try and figure them out and work them with you guys. really, there's only two things that can shift, either demand shifts or supply shifts, and all you do is just add another line, put it in the right direction. If it's ever increasing, whether it be supply or demand, the line's going to go out this way, okay? And so if you look here, see this line here? It literally just went out. If it's ever decreasing, the line's going to go to the left, whether it's supply or demand. You'll see it shift up to the left, okay? Or I should say shift to the left, and you'll see it either affect up or downward. All right, that's it. Hopefully this makes sense for all you guys. You guys survived Chapter 3 homework. Oh yeah, we were supposed to check this one. It's got to be right. Is it right? Yeah, we're right. We're good. All right. All of you take care.